Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So, like I said, I wanted to get back into making videos on my draft leagues. But I just ended up not doing that because I just didn't feel like it. And yeah, I'm just gonna go over all of the replays now of the Champions Tournament Ubers. Overall, I will go over the games and we'll see how well we did. But basically, it's over now for at least us. And yeah, so we did a draft analysis of the team, and I think we're just gonna basically go over what teams we are facing right now. So here we have our first match. We are actually against a Mega Mewtwo Y, which is extremely terrifying on paper because it can do so much, had so much offensive prowess, but our saving grace here was Alolan Muk, which was a near guaranteed answer to any Mewtwo set. And even if it didn't check it, there was Mewtwo would have to do a lot to try and wrap around it and deal with Alolan Muk, which in itself was a win because it would restrict its move pool and EV spreads. So yeah, basically that was the big main issue. We also had a Scizor to deal with, but with Infernape and Landorus Therian, we weren't that afraid of it. And also Rotom. Mandibuzz is also annoying because of the defogging and also being able to just come in on Mega Metagross. Otherwise, Metagross kind of destroyed a lot of stuff. The only things it didn't do well against Mandibuzz, Scizor, or Seismitoad, but we were kind of able to muscle past them because Scizor, just because they just don't, they can't deal with Metagross forever, especially with Meteor Mash threatening to get +1 boosts. Tapu Koko was a bit annoying, but we had several decent responses, and for example, a Metagross and Landorus Therian and also Alolan Muk, which obviously we don't want to use it as the Tapu Koko check because we want it as healthy as possible for Mewtwo, but it was there. So yeah, basically that was what we had to deal with. I believe something that we also had was a Terrakion to deal with, but they didn't end up bringing it. We did have some solutions for it, so Landorus Therian was able to live a hit. Alolan Muk actually had a Break to chip it for a decent amount of damage on the switch, and generally we weren't too afraid of Terrakion, especially because Metagross outspeeds it as well. So let's just get into the match. Yeah, we'll just set it on to normal speed and press play. So they lead off with Tapu Koko as we lead Professor X, and we just lead with hitting it off, Mega Evolving, and then just landing we don't hit it, we actually use Stealth Rocks here. That Seismitoad also gets off rocks, and actually here we reveal our sets for Rotom. We actually have Toxic and Will-O-Wisp on this Rotom, and no way to hit Seismitoad. That's perfectly fine for us though, because yeah, I was fine to sacrifice a Rotom to deal with Seismitoad. We get to knock off the boots off of Mandibuzz and then get a Toxic off. Toxic was basically our way of dealing with Mandibuzz. We didn't really have any other way to hit it for hard except for Kyurem White, which was a good solution, but we struggled. I didn't want to have to get it in guaranteed every time, so getting a Toxic off is phenomenal against Mandibuzz. So now we U-turn back into Rotom and get a nice take some Rocks chip, but then he gets back into Seismitoad, he takes Rocks chip, and here we actually enter a bit of a stalemate. But this I think is a win for me because what does Rotom check? Maybe Scizor, and that's basically it. Whereas Seismitoad is a massive check for my Metagross, which is actually very important. Because otherwise I can kind of just spam Meteor Mash. Well, obviously Scizor is still there, but taking one of them down is phenomenal here, so it's actually a bonus for me. Pain Split makes sure that I get to go all the way down. Will-O-Wisp was actually there to deal with a Scizor that wanted to come in and SD on me, but turns out we didn't need that, so here we go. We both go down. Metagross comes back out, Scizor comes back out, and I make an immediate switch to Landorus Therian to intimidate it. Scizor here decides to go for a U-turn to pivot out. That's perfectly fine. He goes into Mewtwo, and this is obviously our engineered answer is Alolan Muk. So we go in here. So he Mega Evolves and goes Psy Strike, and doesn't hit. Obviously, Mewtwo Wolf 2 does nothing, takes nothing from that. We do a Poison Jab, which is really good. Poison Jab is great, especially with Poison Touch, because they both have 30% chances of poisoning, so pretty good damage. I Break there, I'm not sure why, to be honest, but it does a decent amount of damage and brings it back down low. And this brings in Purgatory for free. I lose my boots, of course, but now Fusion Flare, Oko's whatever. Scissor now comes in, and I go into Metagross anticipating Bullet Punch. So we go in there, and now he goes into Tapu Koko. And I go for a Meteor Mash and miss, but that's perfectly fine because he can't do anything to me except for really Thunderbolt, but I'm a bulky variant actually. So Meteor Mash comes in here, I get +1 damage, and then Hammer Arm finishes it off with Tough Claws boost. I'm slower now though, but because he sends in Mewtwo, I was going to switch out anyway. He goes into Wolf 2. I'm Assault Vest here, so I actually take nothing, but he reveals Earthquake. So that was his solution to me. I was actually going to click Foul Play there because Foul Play guaranteed O'Code that. But I'm just going to pause here. Foul Play, obviously Earthquake was bad, but also that means that his moveset is Psychic, Fire, and then Earthquake, which is a good thing for me because that just means he has a much more limited move pool. So he can't run Recover, can't run Nasty Plot, for example. So now he goes for Agility, so that he reveals his final move, but Bullet Punch deals with it instantly. Tapu Koko does a Thunderbolt. As I said, I live because I'm bulky, and then I go for Meteor Mash, which will almost finish it off, and then Bullet Punch comes out here doing massive chip to Scizor. I Bullet Punch again to just get some final chip in, and Scizor is now very low. Tapu Koko is also extremely low, and now Kira and White can come in. It will take a Bullet Punch. Actually, he goes for Quick Attack. Oh yes, because it was a Bandit Scizor. Right, it was a Bandit Scizor, so it went for Quick Attack. He goes into Dazzling Gleam on Koko, and now Infernape just comes in and cleans up. And so that's a win for us, 2-0. A very nice victory. I think it was a pretty good win. Defensive spread on Metagross, as my opponent said, threw him off. But I think defensive Metagross is really the best way to use Metagross because it's so strong anyway. Like, you look at those defensive stats, like 80 HP, okay, but then like massive defense, massive speed def. You want to invest HP on this thing so that you can take massive amounts of hits. And Meteor Mash just lets you do so much more damage anyway, so you don't really need all that investment. Just make sure you get the right 2 KOs and you're good. So yeah, I had a lot of fun using Metagross this game, and yeah, I think the team was pretty well made. While Muckalo didn't actually do what it was supposed to do and just hard wall Mewtwo, it did what its secondary role was, to force Mewtwo into something weird, and that something weird prevented it from being able to deal with my other threats very well. So yeah, we'll move on to game 2 now, and yeah, this is the losers bracket because we did eventually, like, even though I won my game, we didn't win overall because we had 5 games to play with other coaches. And so now we're in the losers bracket, and for some reason my opponent has decided to bring Dino. So yeah, we'll just see how this game goes. As you can see here, everything's the same except we replaced Rotom Wash with Ribombee. Ribombee was really strong this matchup because of its ability to basically hit hard everything except Chandelure. And even that can be hit with a Psychic, for example. So it's very good offensively here, but also Webs is phenomenal in this game as well because Mars Shadow is extremely fast, but under Webs I can kind of slow it down. Chandelure can also be slowed down if it's a Scarf variant. Rillaboom has priority Grassy Glide, but But if you look at my team, like, nothing hates a Grassy Glide. I mean, I have a lot of resists, and Landorus has Intimidate, and yeah, there's nothing that really cares about Grassy Glide here, so I'm not actually sure that was a good bring on their part. Maybe they were that afraid of Rotom Wash. But yeah, overall, like, Ribombee was very good offensively, but also just as a lead. I didn't actually end up bringing Quiverland, so I brought Stabs, Sticky Weapon, Toxic, so with a Sash as a lead. And just plan to kill myself in front of a lead Mars Shadow if needed, but also just get webs up if I needed to. So we'll start the game. So as I said, I lead Gloxinia, the Ribombee, and Dino comes out. It literally doesn't do anything. It goes on a sash, lands a Toxic, because I really didn't think they were going to attack because their ability is literally Hustle. I don't know why they brought Dino at all. It might have just been because they thought they were just going to lose anyway. So yeah, they go on Sticky Webs, and now they taunt me. So that's actually bad because I can't go Toxic anymore. But Moonblast finishes it off. And because I don't have Toxic, I actually get walled by Chandelure, so I decide to just attack and try and lower its attack. I actually break a substitute there, so that's pretty good as well. So now I go into Landorus and try to read the switch and click like what Threatening Earthquake and go for Stealth Rocks, but he just decides to stay in and just click Shadow Ball and lands actually a crit, which I'm pretty sure mattered. And now just lose my Landorus, but now I outspeed and go into Earthquake. I don't have to fear Scarf because Webs would, even if it was Scarf, Webs would make me faster. So now he goes into Latios. I'm not sure why he went Latios here. He could have threatened with Shadow Ball, but really I think the answer here was Marshadow. So we'll see how this goes. He Mega evolves into Mega Latios. Meteor Mash does Big Chip. He goes for Draco Meteor of all moves for some reason. I'm not sure why. But Meteor Mash now doesn't actually 2-hit KO, so they're trying to bank on a miss, I guess, but really he can't really do anything back to me, so I have no reason to not keep clicking Meteor Mash until he attacks, which is the turn he doesn't recover, and that lets me Bullet Punch and finish him off. Rillaboom comes in. I still don't know why. Marshadow is probably better. Probably feared Zen Headbutt, which I didn't actually bring. Might have been a good bring. But Meteor Mash, actually no, he shouldn't have feared Zen Headbutt anyway because I outsped, but I guess he was trying to just chip me. But yeah, Meteor Mash into Bullet Punch, I believe. No, it didn't. Bullet Punch didn't kill, so I had to click Meteor Mash again. I'm quite low now, but he goes into Zeraora, which is again slower than me because the webs are amazing this game. I click Earthquake, which is weakened by Grassy Terrain, but that's fine. It's still massive chip, and then now he goes for Plasma Fists, kills me, and now Scarf Monkey can kind of clean up the game here, clicking Flare Blitz once. Gets slowed down. I click Flare Blitz again, it doesn't kill. But that's perfectly fine. I have a full health Kyurem Black with a Chople Berry and a Muk Alola, and he's also holding a Life Orb, so it really doesn't matter. And also I have Shadow Sneak, so he couldn't do anything for me, against me. So that was the game 2, another 2-0 victory. A pretty good win overall, and we actually end up winning overall for this bracket, so we get to carry on in the losers bracket. So on to the third game. Here we have quite a strong team actually. I don't know why they brought Komala, because they actually had other threats. I don't remember what they were, but they were quite scary. But yeah, so it seems like I'm a magnet for interesting leads, because if we look at the game start, he leads Komala, and I lead, once again, this is Scarf Infernape. I just really like using Scarf Infernape. It's so fun, and it's so strong, especially in Ubers, because you get outspeed absolutely everything, and your firefighting stabs are nigh unresisted. Especially into this matchup, it's really good. I get walled by Feeny, of course, but I believe I brought Gunk Shot, so a lot of stuff overall. Rotom Wash is back just to take on a Glacial Lance in a pinch, and also just wall stuff like Corviknight or Feeny to some degree. Yeah, it's just better than Ribombee here. So we go for close combat. Actually, I will say one more time, this is actually the third time Mukalolo has been brought just because of a overpowered ghost type. Not because I'm an overpowered ghost type, but because it's a really good resist. So we had Mewtwo in the first game. Second game we had, what was it? It was a Marshadow. It obviously wasn't the best answer, but it could take a hit, and had Rocky Helmet, I believe. And then here we have a Spectrier. So Mukalolo was a value pick, I think, but we ended up bringing it every game here. So yeah, I don't know why they decided to stay in. Like, just clicked close combat and just did damage. Like, I think he was trying to scout for what I was gonna do. That's what they said in the post game, but like, that's one of your mons, you know? Like, it's kind of just gone now. I mean, I question its bringing it this game anyway because Metagross is such a big answer to its main Banded, Sleep Talk, Last Resort set. So I don't really know what this set was in the end, but yeah, it didn't get to show anything. So I just get an Oko straight right off the bat. So that was fun. Spectre comes in, but I can just go straight Muck. The only thing I really fear here is Mudshot, which is the only scary thing. He goes into Silver Valley Dark as I Poison Jab and get the poison because it's a pretty high chance. It's like 51%. Poison is pretty big because I get a massive chip on Silver Valley, who doesn't really get reliable recovery. Flame Charge here into my Mr. Monkey. I'm not scared, and I just go for a Flare Blitz. It does take me out. Close combat might have been better, but then we just baited Spectre. I was fearing the Spectre switch, and I feel like Flare Blitz was just a better play there. There was no reason for me to click CC because, I mean, Infernape would have been nice for Calyrex, but if it was Trick Room, then it wouldn't beat it anyway. And also, Feeny was still there to just wall me if they wanted to. Sorry. So yeah, I just wanted to click Flare Blitz and do as much damage as possible. So now we go into the Great Phantasm against Tapu Fini. He switches out immediately as I click Volt Switch, which is awesome for me. Go straight back into Muk. And yeah, so here's a misplay that on my opponent's part. He goes for Will-O-Wisp and Misty Terrain, forgetting its effect, because grounded allies, well, all grounded Pokemon in Misty Terrain are immune to status conditions, and that actually gives me a vital free turn to just Oko this thing. In retrospect, they said they should have switched out, obviously, but and I don't know what they would have done differently. I mean, the fact that Spectre can't beat Muk might have changed their entire plan. Maybe they didn't even bring Spectre, or they would have brought Mudshot, you know? But this is Choice Spec. Spectre would have done a lot of damage if Muk wasn't here, and might have won the game for them if they played around it a bit longer. But Knockoff here was always my play, even if I didn't expect the switch, because Corviknight I could get rid of Boots or Leftovers or whatever. Calyrex I could get rid of some item, probably maybe like a Band or Heavy Duty Boots or something, and Rocks would have been amazing then. Feeny could get rid of its Leftovers. So I just clicked Knockoff because it could do great damage into anything, and also obviously hit the thing in front of me. So it was an overall great move. But yeah, my opponent's choked here by trying to Will-O-Wisp and Misty Terrain. So now Spectre faints, and out comes Calyrex Ice. I fear high horsepower. No, I don't fear high horsepower. I don't think it kills here, is the thing. So I go for Knockoff and remove the Heavy Duty Boots. He goes for Trick Room as anticipated and goes for Glacial Lance. I actually live, which is quite amazing. I forget if I actually invested for this, but Black Sludge here I felt was better than Assault Vest for Spectre because I actually had the move Disable. Had the move Disable on me and Pain Split, and I felt those were really good moves to have. I did somewhat. In retrospect, I should have saw an attacking coming, and I should have clicked Disabled here instead of Knockoff, instead of a second Knockoff, because it just would have been more productive. I chipped Calyrex for a bit, but I didn't really need that chip, I don't think. And also, Disable would have meant if I disabled Glacial Lance, Landorus is free. If I disabled Seed Bomb, well, it wouldn't have clicked Seed Bomb, but if it disabled Seed Bomb, Rotom was free, and if it disabled High Horsepower, Metagross is free. So it was always a win for me here to click Disable, and I should have saw that coming, but I didn't. So I guess it was a little bit of a throw on my part. Calyrex would have been really scary here. I do go here. I switch out because I don't want him to get Grim Chilling Egg. So he goes into Glacial Lance here, and he reveals Seed Bomb, which I completely forgot about. I was just thinking, okay, Ice and Ground coverage and maybe Psychic, but I completely forgot that Calyrex is a Grass type, right, sitting on the horse, and yep, gave him a free +1 here. But Muckalola comes here now, dies as well to stall the Trick Room turns. He gets to plus, but Trick Room is over now, so now Kyurem is here to just finish it off. And now it's pretty awesome for Kyurem because I'm Life Orb Kyurem and Corviknight just, you know, takes a lot of damage from this. Would have died if it wasn't Akka, which was a great bring on my opponent's part, but it's a bit too little too late. And so Freeze Dry here kills anyways, so I just use it against in case of Finny switches. And now once again, I click Freeze Dry, do a massive amount of damage. I get killed by Draining Kiss, which doesn't really matter because I have 2 full health Pokemon at the end, and Metagross finishes the job with a Thunder Punch. So that's the game, and that would actually be the final game of the Champions Tournament. While I did win every game, my allies did not, unfortunately, so we kind of ended it here. We were out of the losers bracket, and so therefore that's the end of the Champions Tournament. That was my first time playing Ubers, and I think like that was a really fun. I think I had some really great value picks, and especially like being able to get Metagross Kyurem at the start was phenomenal for me. They were quite underpriced, and Harrison, one of the coaches on our team, identifying this was phenomenal for us. So yeah, I think that was a really big part, having just a phenomenal team. But also, for some reason, my opponents kept bringing their worst Pokemon and leading them and losing them instantly, so who knows what they were thinking about that, but that was an interesting choice as well on their part. So yeah, that was the game, and that was the tournament. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys are looking forward to Scarlet and Violet, which is coming out really soon. I am for sure, and yeah, maybe I'll see you guys in another Draft League tournament sometime later.